welcome everybody for the launch of the Cloud Report and Logistics Innovation Award on logistics nodes. And I'm Fernando Liesa. I'm the Secretary General of Alice, and I will be moderating and chairing the whole session. And I really hope you enjoy what we'll do today. First, I'll do myself a short presentation on the BOOSTLOG project, in the frame of which we are developing this activity. And BOOSTLOG is a project funded by the European Commission under the Horizon 2020 project. Later on, Alicia and Enríquez from Fundación Valencia Port will present the cloud report on logistics nodes. And later, colleague Elvina Nowak, that was also part of the jury for the award, will moderate a panel with Salvador Furio, Giuseppe Dell'Asta, and Chris Neyens, that were also part of the jury on the challenges, innovation, and sustainability on logistics nodes. We'll go later with the funny part of this, and we are really happy to give some awards for some good cases that manage to transfer research and innovation results in actual implementations, market product solutions, or new developments that are creating actual impact. And then we'll do the summary and closing. So let me then now proceed with the presentation on BOOSTLOG. BOOSTLOG, it's a European funded project which it's aiming at transforming European freight transport and logistics research and innovation ecosystem, trying to support the companies and organizations working in this field to take better advantage of research and innovation results. We have very good and great results, projects, and initiatives, and we sometimes realize it's not that easy to get these results transferred to the companies that can take over for the improvement of processes or creating of new solutions. And this is the actual objective of BOOSTLOG in terms of trying to increase and boost the impact generation from research and innovation in freight transport and logistics. Some basic information on BOOSTLOG. It's a €1 million coordination and support action. It's now in the middle of the project, and we have still 18 months to go. At the end of 2023 is when it finished. And the coordination and support action counts with different types of stakeholders in logistics and supply chain that are the partners of this consortium, that gives the consortium itself a very good overview of the different topics and subjects. And for example, Fundación Valencia Port, that it's really linked to the logistics nodes ports, it's really the organization that was doing this cloud report and leading this activity within BOOSTLOG project. So why BOOSTLOG? Actually, from Alice, that is actually coordinating this project, we developed different roadmaps and developed a vision how freight transport and logistics should look like in future, and how should advance really to achieve decarbonization, but also making it more integrated transport, and really to get efficiency and sustainability in the freight transport and logistics and supply chains. We also envision for this the implementation or adoption of the physical internet concept, really to make it possible to make more with less, and also in view of the transition required in terms of energies and fleets. We also see this is a great challenge, and we need to really advance in these models to make better use of the assets, the vehicles, and all the resources that are used in the supply chain. When we look into the European priorities, we see quite similar objectives and priorities in terms of the Green Deal or the Fit for 55 package that is part of the Green Deal, also on the digital transformation. And many of these priorities of the European level are really aligned, and this we also analyze in one of the deliverables of BOOSTLOG, the alignment between industry and European or policy public priorities. And what we can see is that in most cases the objectives long term are quite aligned. But it's not that aligned, it's the way to achieve them, and there is where a little bit more different views appear, and that creates a little bit of and it's clear because it's not as evident, and it's unclear in many cases how we can really adopt. And surely the vision from the companies is different, the vision from the public body. So then the idea here is that trying to support also these worlds in terms of innovation research work more closely together, so then we can definitely jointly take better advantage of the investments done in research and innovation, and also supporting these priorities. So in a nutshell, for more information on what exactly are doing, we are really looking into past and future past projects, and we identified at the beginning of the project more than 160 projects that are linked to freight transport and logistics in the last 20 years of the European research and innovation, so a very long period. And then what we are doing is trying to identify good results out of those projects, outcomes, and make them more visible to the sector. This we are doing in different areas, what we call the cloud reports. So far we have performed logistics cloud reports in the area of coordination and collaboration on logistics, urban logistics, and today we present and launch the one on logistics nodes. In the pipeline we have already freight and logistics data sharing and multimodal freight corridors and transport networks that we'll present in the upcoming months. And then for next year we'll go in the last three, one focused on the physical internet, another on digitalization and technologies applications for logistics, and the third one on the transition to zero emissions energies and vehicles for transport and logistics. As part of this exercise, we identify what we call implementation cases. Implementation cases are cases in which companies or organizations build up from research and innovation results and created products, services, solutions that went into the market and are creating impact. So then they are actually benefiting society, economy, and all that. So then also what we do is to with all this information, results, outcomes, implementation cases, we feed our knowledge platform that it's really available and open for everybody. And we are also creating an innovation marketplace in which for those projects that are having outcomes and results that are in technology readiness levels 7 and beyond, we can declare those ones and we can share and creating really not only a digital marketplace, but also a network in which these TRL level 7, 8 solutions can be exposed and can find partners or investors or whatever funding opportunities they want to, or they need to really move to higher technology readiness level, but also in other market readiness and really moving forward. And we also collect challenges from industry. So then with all that, we, I mean, the around Alice, but of course, including all the stakeholders in logistics, we are creating this innovation ecosystem for the logistics sector. there is another area of BOOSTLOG that is really more looking into the future, as we know what is going on, what happened in the past, but we also identify new trends, challenges, and opportunities for freight transport and logistics. That in the last few years, there have been a lot of disruptions that have changed a lot how perception of logistics and the importance of logistics is, of course, much more clear with things like COVID-19 or certain blockage of supply chains and all that is going on. It's really creating a lot of challenges, but it's also true that regular people, we realize that the importance of freight transport and logistics when we go to the supermarket and we cannot find the products we want, and this is really making it more visible, the importance of logistics. And one of the main areas of BOOSTLOG project is also identifying high priority and potential research and innovation gaps, and we actually provided already recommendations for the Horizon Europe program. That is the program of our European Commission for Research and Innovation in the calls 23-24. I would say that many of these topics and suggestions coming from BOOSTLOG that have been in many cases supported by Alice and other stakeholders. We'll see when these work programs are published in the next few weeks, and they are actually made public. So then if you look for them, even if they are not open and published, you can find them, and we have them, of course. But you will see there a strong correlation between our priorities and recommendations and the program. And we'll do this also for the next programs, 25th and 26th. So then if you really want to also be involved and engage in defining priorities or research for the next calls, stay tuned with BOOSTLOG, because we'll in 23 we'll have other opportunities in order for you to voice your needs and interest in research and innovation. So we collect them and we share with the European Commission services. And last but not least, we are also developing the liaison with research and innovation projects. So then at the end, this is a circle that we are managing and organizing, and we plan to, from an analyst perspective, we plan to keep the same methodologies and works after the CSA. So then the CSA is really helping us to create a strong framework methodology, but we plan as Alice to build up on it and continue working in this direction. And with the purpose really to enlarge the ecosystem at the scale. One of the things that we have realized in Alice is that it's not that easy to engage with companies, logistics service providers, and shippers into research and innovation. I think in the area of logistics nodes, and this we will see in the report, it probably was the case like 10 years ago, but now I see a lot of the logistics nodes, terminals, ports, airports are much more engaged in European research and innovation, and that's really great. And we would like to help other subsectors within freight transport and logistics to build this capability, because we are sure that to face these challenges on digitalization, particularly sustainability, we need innovation, we need collaboration, and we need to work together. So that's all on my side here. That's not going to go in details, but as we will share the presentations and recording later, you have a list of the reports that we have provided and we have created in Alice. Here I would like to stress that we developed a management and progress report that it's a little bit long. It's 10 pages, but in that document you can really get a full, and in one page here you can get a full summary of the different developments within BOOSTLOG. There are other deliverables and results to come out of BOOSTLOG. And yeah, to conclude, and the aim of BOOSTLOG is really to create a better collaboration framework between research, industry, companies, and within the logistics sector, because we truly believe that these challenges that we are facing are not possible to be addressed from individual companies. We really need to collaborate, and as we say in Alice, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And I think we need to go far. And this is the presentation of BOOSTLOG. If you have any question or comment, you may include that in the chat, and I'll try to address any question you may have, or you want to get further information. But now let's go for the most important part, that is really the release of this cloud report on logistics nodes. And for that, I would like to introduce Alicia Enríquez from Fundación Valencia Pod, that will do that presentation. So the floor is yours, Alicia.
Well, good morning, everyone. Well, I am Alicia Enríquez, Innovation Technician at Fundación Valencia Port, and as Fernando said before, we are in charge of producing the Logistic Nodes Cloud Report. So now it's time to start with the presentation of the results of this cloud. So next slide, please. The European Commission has invested a lot of money in logistic and transport projects, but it's difficult to find and valorize the results coming out of those projects. And this is the first challenge that BOOSTLOG is facing and wants to solve. And also the results of the projects are available because they are in Cordis. They don't are actionable results, and this is the exercise we performed in BOOSTLOG. Also, there are other challenging reasons for results being taken up, and this is due to market fragmentation, regulations, but also to resistance to change. And indeed, the last challenges was something that came up in several occasions during the interviews performed with experts in the framework of Logistic Nodes Cloud Report. So these are barriers that the project have to fight. Finally, we observe that there is something linked to the attribution of impact. Some of the past projects already contribute to what the European Commission strategies are aiming for, but we have not been able to attribute the impact of the project to those strategies. And this is an exercise we also want to do in BOOSTLOG projects. So next slide, please. So as Fernando and I explained, in order to optimize European investment in research and innovation projects in the scope of transport and logistics, BOOSTLOG is carrying out an evaluation process of concluded research and innovation projects. This evaluation is conducted from the perspective of 6 key areas within the scope of transport and logistics to identify research and innovation gaps and prioritize the needs to be addressed in future research programs. The present deliverable focus on logistic nodes, as I said, is showing the main results and impacts from European funded projects on this area. All the reports include a brief highlight of the main challenges, past and current specific pain points, and key research and innovation outcomes and implementation cases. And well, some of this information is gathered through interviews with experts, and then the draft report is shared with this expert for further input and discussions through and workshop for validation of the report. Next slide. So the Logistic Nodes Cloud Report concentrates on 5 specific infrastructures, which are the ones you can see on the screen: maritime and river ports, inland ports and hubs, container depots, intermodal terminals, and airports, and also 3 types of improvements. So the projects that try to improve one or more of these logistic nodes were potentially eligible for inclusion in our cloud. But to avoid overlaps, some cases with a minor impact of this cloud have been left out of this report, as they have been or will be later showcased in future cloud reports. This is important to mention because in the interviews with conduct with experts, it happened that several experts missed some projects that address logistic nodes, but well, they were not included in our cloud because they were included or are going to be included in another cloud. So next slide. So the evaluation of the research and innovation projects from the fifth framework program to up to Horizon 2020 has resulted in the selection of these 21 projects, as these are considered key projects with important contributions to the progress and evolution of the logistic nodes. As shows the diagram, these projects have been classified into 4 different categories regarding their main focus. In yellow, safety and traffic management, formed by 2 projects regarding mainly the security in ports. The second group in green is ICTs for optimizing container or intermodal terminal process and operations, with 6 projects making a great use of technologies for improving the terminals. There is also in blue the new generation of logistic nodes made by the greater number of projects and focusing mainly on future challenges regarding the 3 areas include, which are governance, collaboration, and business models. And finally, in purple, 2 projects for a transition to more efficient and sustainable vehicles and machineries in both ports and container terminals. Next slide, please. So in the first section of the report, you can also find this table that shows the target impacts that the project selected had, showing that the European Commission already was asking to these projects about their expected impacts. All the expected impacts are the benefits expected to be achieved by the projects funded by the European Commission, ranging from reduced environmental impacts to modal shift or improve European transport performance. So what we have done is to evaluate the projects that made the most progress in terms of these target impacts, and we analyze whether it was not demonstrated, if it was only theoretically demonstrated, if it was a proof of concept, or if it was implemented on a small, medium, or late scale. So we classify the status of the projects that made the most progress of that impact, and that's the status that we award in the table that you can see on this slide. Next slide. Well, once we have the project selected, we also identify the impacts that are expected to be achieved according to the programs of the projects studied. As you can see on this table, there are in total 11 general impacts broken down into different KPIs. So we did pre-allocation, looking at what the Commission was asking from these projects, and then we validate during the workshops with the expert if each project really contributes to the expected impact and to the KPI. In the research and innovation programs studied, it is clear that the main focus is the caring for the environment and the consequent reduction of greenhouse gases emissions, especially CO2 emissions, followed by modal shift, cost decrease, and terminal capacity increase. Next slide, Fernando. Well, as you can see, we also classify the outputs of the projects in order to better understand what the most predominant outcomes of these complete projects were. So if I previously focused on expected impacts, in this case, I will explain the project's outcomes detected. It is easy to see that in our report, almost half of the projects aim to generate a service or a product. But making new technology available was also in almost a third of them. Well, it was harder to find projects in logistic nodes resulting in business model or policies. Some analysis were also made regarding the partners of the projects. Um, and this is something that Fernando said before. We select the most relevant participants and realize that the biggest participations come from companies, followed by academia and research, and then IT providers. And in last place come the organization in where the logistic nodes themselves are included. Um, and well, this graph also help us to identify the experts we saw interview. Next slide, please. Once we were sure about the projects, the areas on which they were focused, the impacts that are expected to be achieved, and the outcomes finally achieved, the next steps we follow was the identification of the core challenges or areas of intervention, and also the potential actions to achieve further improvements in logistic nodes. Work partially possible thanks to all the study made in the points I have just detailed. So innovative aspects will be key. First, to overcome the barriers faced by the logistic nodes, and second, to achieve further improvements in them. Logistic nodes currently demand and target mainly three aspects: safety and security, efficiency, and sustainability. Um, so these areas need to be addressed by getting improvements on the topics on the right arrow wheel, which are the digitalization, governance and network, green vehicles and machineries, intermodality, infrastructures, and operational and process. Um, a clear example to approach, for instance, the operational efficiency target is to make improvements in operations and process such as automation, standardization, or efficiency enhancements, which will contribute to saturation and waiting times reductions, but also to the intermodality and digitalizations. So the following discussion topic is the barriers. Next slide, please. In this report, 5 main groups of barriers have been identified. The first barrier is climate change risks, where 3 perspectives have been taken. The atmospheric challenges aspects, also the variations in the demand and production of products, and the modal shift helping to reduce greenhouse gases emissions. As a second variant, the skepticism or lack of ability to invest in new solutions and technologies has hindered the implementation of future innovation, which impacts on slowing down aspects like digitalization. The plurality of organization is another barrier, as long as the no exchange of information between them hinders decision making on the nodes, and also the standardization of process. On the other hand, high cost on both time and money to adapt the infrastructures to new trends is another barrier, more focused on entering the market and will have impacts over all the regular operation in the logistic nodes. And lastly, the increased operational problems related to the lack of capacity of the nodes. Next slide, please, Fernando. So the following part of our cloud report is the implementation cases. And I have to say that it has been particularly difficult to find them. They usually take time to reach the market, and as we have seen, the interest of logistic nodes in innovation programs is pretty recent. So there are not many implementation cases still, of if they are, they involve too much another clouds. So as a result, we have identified 5 implementation cases which aim to improve the logistic nodes we consider. The first implementation case is the Ericsson Project 5G port of the future. They start developing in Coriolis projects a model driving real-time control. The objective was to control and support the port operation by making cargo handling better and faster. They use a 5G network, disruptive technologies such as Internet of Things or artificial intelligence, and also camera, GPS, and other sensors for coordinating operation in real time. The module is still being used in the Italian port of Livorno, and Ericsson is still working on it. So by this time, the UN Congress selected the project for its contribution to sustainability. They were named between the 5 most valuable projects in the section Tech for Good in the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. And they won the Industry Energy Efficiency Award at Hanover Messe. A system that predicts the maintenance for the jack trucks by making a greater use of the resources available. It is a machine learning tool based in just-in-time inventory with the objective of extending the life cycle of yard equipment, improve its availability, and reduce inventory cost and size. Currently, the system is kept in the port of Piraeus, and it's bringing multiple financial and operational benefits. It increased the efficiency of processes, and it is planning and greenhouse gas emissions. Next slide, Fernando. The following case was developed as an outcome of the Pixel project. The Port Environmental Index is a quantitative indicator of the environmental performance. It does represent a huge progress in combining diverse sciences to achieve the results. It includes atmosphere emissions, but also noise, odors, and like pollution. This index aims to increase a comprehensive, standardized, and transparent methodology to quantify all the environmental aspects of ports and its related impacts into a single metric. The added value of this metric is that it is a self-assessment procedure, and it is an automated real-time data collection system obtained through Internet of Things, which obtains a quantitative result that can be compared with other ports. Currently, this index not only is used in the port of Piraeus, but also in the port of Thessaloniki, Bordeaux, and Monfalcon, and it is also expanding to the port of Vigo in Spain. Another implementation case is a port rail shunting optimization system from the Italian consulting firm Circle. The tool is the result of collecting the outcomes of research and innovation projects and implementing them in a TEF project. The innovation project from which the idea come is TEBETS, which support the design of a digital twin. One part of the solution is a decision support system for the planning and the management of rail shunting operations within the port area. Um, it consists of a scheduling model which finds the best starting and ending time for its considered operation of every train to manage, and reschedule module for unpredictable events such as delays. On the other hand, the digital twin is developed for simulating the operation. It can be made available to different process operation for simulating and monitoring the state of the infrastructure over the time. This optimization tool is already deployed for the scheduling in an integrated manner with the software used by the shunting operation in the port of Genova. And currently, this module is in test and pilot phase. In the next months, will be extended to the rest scheduling. And last but not least, the slot booking application. As a result from Cluster 2.0, this is a web application that assists the operation of freight delivery and pickup in airports. The main impacts of its use are the reduced waiting and idle times, the optimization of personnel planning, and the transparency and smoothness given to this process. Many companies contribute in the development on the tool, but was Nalian who continued to develop it by expanding and improving it. The implementation of the project was in the Brussels airport and currently remains via its platform Brew Cloud by Air Cargo Belgium. And currently, the Brew achievements have been developed in other airports internationally and are active in Singapore, US, Liège, Luxembourg, Vienna, and Heathrow too. So next slide, please. So part of the research conduct for this report has allowed us to identify the implementation cases resulting from projects, but it can also contribute to clear the path to follow for the coming projects. The interviews with experts show that in the trend, the most repeated factor was the digitalization, followed by environmental concerning such as climate change or sustainability. There are believed to be factors with long-term effects with a wide influence range. These trends cloud picture the present and future of the logistic nodes. According to the expert, digitalization has been around for some time, but it has been speeding up in the last year due to the COVID pandemic. This situation has proven its need and has stimulated its implementation in companies of any level. On the other hand, climate change and sustainability are mainly triggered by policies and usually affect logistic nodes in a more indirect way. There are other external factors such as reshoring, e-commerce, and non-predictable impacts that were also commented due to the situation that the world has faced in recent years. On the other hand, focusing on the level of involvement of the logistic nodes themselves in the projects covering this cloud, we found that their participation was very limited in the completed projects. But as we will see right now, this has improved in ongoing projects, which means that truly interested stakeholders are more engaged. And finally, in the last years, theft projects have been the projects that have really fostered innovation in logistic nodes. In fact, in the interviews, many projects of the SAFE program were also named when asking for projects. And well, this is very consistent with the diagram that we present you at the beginning, which show us that many of the projects selected in the logistic nodes cloud are part of the latest innovation program. Consequently, it was expected that this cloud will not show many implementation cases, since the interest of innovation projects in the logistic nodes is considerable recent. And finally, there are currently many ongoing projects whose potential to generate implementation cases is very high, and that are a clear indicator of the present and future path of the logistic nodes. Therefore, even few implementation cases have been found. Many are expected in the coming years. In this regard, and following the same classification that has been used in the selected projects, the topic ICTs for optimizing terminal process and operation is currently contemplated by one project. The new generation of logistic nodes remains the main focus, having the greatest number of projects. There are two topics that stand out, and these, as expected, coincide with the result obtained as key trends in previous figure, and they are digitalization and climate change. And on the other hand, a big number of projects focus on sustainability. These look for the so-called green terminals, in which greenhouse gas emissions and energy consumptions are reduced to the minimum. These are some projects with focus on both trends. It is the case of MACPI, which aims to make ports both greener and smarter, meaning more digitalizes, or Port Forward, which points at the port ecosystem, but also from the smart, green, and sustainable perspective. And finally, while the category of projects mainly focus on the safety and traffic management of logistic nodes disappeared, the interest on the vehicles and machinery in the nodes also lows. And that's also from my side. I hope you find this presentation interesting and useful. And sorry for the problems with my computer.
Okay, thank you, Alicia, for the insightful presentation. The presentation will be made available afterwards, and also the full report is also available in the page of the event. Now we are going to move forward to the next session that is going to be chaired by Elvina Nowak, that is project manager at Alice. So Elvina will conduct a panel discussion. So the floor is yours, Elvina.
Thank you, Fernando. I am more than happy to welcome and to introduce our panelists for addressing three questions. So, Salvador, could you switch on your camera? So, you are the director
No.
of Valencia Port Foundation. You are also the chair of the TG2 Corridor Hubs and Synchro Modality. Welcome. I'm also welcoming Chris Mayens. Could you switch on your camera? You are the manager internationalization, in BIL, so the Fernando Innovation Cluster for Logistics. And you are also the co-chair of the TG2. And finally, Giuseppe Dall'Asta, Manager Director at Interporto Bologna. Interporto Bologna is really recognized to be a strong logistics cluster in Italy and even in the European framework. So we will have, I'm sorry, no 20 minutes, but only 15 minutes, okay, in order to stick with the agenda. We will address three questions, so maximum 5 minutes per question. So the first question, panelists, let's start. Which challenges are logistics nodes facing today? I know it's a challenging question. So is it about global supply chain disruption, energy prices, generally the increase of logistics cost, the new consumer behaviors, and so on? So I give you the floor to address this question. So who wants to start to answer to this question? Perhaps Salvador?
Yeah, okay, no problem. Well, I think, well, in the cloud report that was presented just a few minutes, there's a discussion about what are these challenges for logistics nodes, and I think the challenges, the general challenges are the same that the transport and logistics sector in general have. So it's about efficiency, safety and security, sustainability, the big areas that were commented there. And I would like to comment about digitalization as a challenge itself. It is very important. It's something that contributes to all the different areas that I mentioned before. And I would say that most of the processes are already digitalized. There's been a big deployment in the last years of IoT with sensors in all the infrastructures and assets, etc. And all this provides a lot of data. But the challenge now is really to exploit all this information that we can and we have available to optimize planning, to optimize the operations at logistics nodes, to improve the predictions, to achieve more flexibility and dynamic planning, and things like artificial intelligence can help us to do so. But there is still a big challenge to take profit of all this information available. And there's still also challenges in the standardization of processes and data. So we have to continue working on this. And I will comment also, I would say decarbonization is a main priority now. But logistics nodes, ports, etc., there is not an easy question, and there is still a lot of uncertainty about the technologies that will be deployed in the different transport segments. So this makes it difficult to logistics nodes as they have to be adapted, and there is a lot of uncertainty still.
Thank you, Salva. It was really clear. Who wants to continue on this topic, Giuseppe? Chris?
Yeah, I think. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, first of all. And I think that Salva, my colleague, said everything that is on top of our priorities today. So, and you introduced it, and the presentation before clearly explained what are the main challenges. And I can say that, yeah, definitely is the improvement of operations and decarbonization, but also integration of the different actors and different processing along the supply chain is the key challenge now, because as Salva correctly said, there are a lot of initiatives and investment in digitalization, from different actors and different companies. Now the real challenge to me is to integrate those initiatives and those data to smooth and harmonize all the processes between different actors in the supply chain. So the digitalization in that sense is the fil rouge that can support all these all the actors to overcome and address the challenges that we are facing.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
mean,
Thank you, Giuseppe. Yes, Chris, if you can just answer in 1 minute, we will address this kind of topic on sustainability and new IT key driver in the second and the third question. So just 1 minute, and you will
yeah, I
continue
will be very
afterwards.
short. Actually, Giuseppe really took the words out of my mouth in the sense that I feel what the biggest challenge, I think most people understand what is needed and where the technical evolutions are going and what the possibilities are. But I think there's a lot of willingness, but also a lack of understanding where they as an organization, I mean all the stakeholders, fit in exactly and how they can contribute and in the most and fastest efficient way. And that's what nodes are about. So they're driven by that. The willingness is there, but understanding is needed. And I think that's where also BOOSTLOG plays a big role.
Thank you. Really concise. Thank you, Chris. So let's jump to the second question. Which are the key drivers of logistics nodes to support the sustainable transition and the increase of the modal shift? So, Chris, if you want to continue, I give you the floor.
Can you rephrase the question, please?
Yeah,
Because
which are the key drivers of logistics nodes to support the sustainable transition and the increase of the modal shift? The sustainability for logistics nodes?
yeah, I think there the key drivers to make that sustainable shift possible are actually is also already that that information, that availability, and to be able to be that efficient node in that network. You need to know what you can do when you can do it. So of course you have all the technical elements, I would say, for carbon reduction and energy, and also I would say the energy shift, and all those aspects. But to be able to generate that modal shift, you need that information and you need to be a part of it. And I think it's a very direct answer and a very perhaps a less academic answer, but it relates to what I was saying before. And I think really that connection between all those parties will boost that for sure.
Yeah, you are definitely right. So, Giuseppe, do you want to continue, or Salva? I do
Yeah,
not.
what I see from our observatory, our perspective, there are several different levels from which the nodes, logistic nodes, can improve the sustainable transition. First of all, there is an infrastructural level. So a lot of logistic nodes are investing money and with the support of EU to upgrade the physical infrastructure of their logistical infrastructure in order to be more responding to the EU requirements at the TEN-T corridor network level. Then, on top of that, what we said before, trying to push digitalization and harmonize and optimize the operations inside the logistics nodes in order to make the physical infrastructure more responding to the needs of the supply chain, different supply chains. And then I can see that there is also, at least from our perspective, the logistic node are pushing a lot in developing added value services and try to promote them to support the different actors of the supply chain. So what a logistic node can do is to bring added value to the transport of the goods to make them more sustainable, more efficient, and more resilient and more reactive to the different changes that we can experience in the supply chains.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Seba?
Yeah, well, I completely agree with all the previous comments, and I just would like to remark that in some cases there are nodes like ports that are trying to take a leading role, going beyond the port itself. So besides improving the infrastructures in the port and trying to improve and make more efficient the operations, they are also investing not just in the port, but also in inland terminals, or even in improving the linear infrastructure and trying to come together to the different parties so that they can work together and make more efficient the processes. So, and this is aligned with the initial Chris comment that I think is something that nodes and the ports cannot do alone. So it's necessary this cooperative and collaborative approach.
Fully agree. Yeah. Okay. 10 minutes for 2 questions. Yes. Congrats. So that's the last question to you. You have already mentioned, you have already answered to this question, but let's take 5 minutes to go deeper. So how, for you, according to you, how could the use of innovative technologies and solution could improve the efficiency of logistics nodes? So innovative technologies, solution to improve efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
What's your answer? Who wants to start?
Yeah, well, I can start. I mentioned before, I think there is a big potential for artificial intelligence to optimize these processes and operations at logistics nodes and to make them more efficient. The access to more and better information increases the opportunities of this kind of technology. New technologies also facilitates this collaboration and cooperation that we were discussing before between the different agents involved for shared intelligent planning, to share capacity, improving the efficiency of operations, and many other things that can be done together. And I think automation and robotization is another of the basic technologies to improve the efficiency of logistics nodes.
Yeah, I would like to join you there, Salva, and I think also it connects to another challenge in many industries is the human factor, where a lot of, I would say, imports nodes and all these places, a lot of expertise used to be, captured in the head of 1 or 2 people that were the magicians of the terminal, etc., etc. It's very hard to attract people. At the same time, I think the volumes are increasing, the complexity is bigger and bigger. So those tools are really helpful to support that expertise and also to make, I would say, the right decisions supported by learning and supported by objective facts and by, at the end, bottom line, the numbers, with better results. And I think that will be the biggest driver also for companies to be convinced to embrace that technology.
Fully agree with my colleagues, and I just had few things. I mean, I think that what we saw in the previous presentation and the short list of projects that we selected for this award are cover a clear example of what is the technology that can help the innovation, and then the innovation technology that can provide solution to improve the efficiency. Yeah? So we saw before the use of brand new technology like 5G in logistic nodes that can exploit the operation, or vertical solution, for instance, like the optimization of the shunting of the predicting maintenance, but also using exploit technologies to start monitoring the carbon footprint of the logistic operation. So all the sets of the project that we are going to award, I think that cover a complete set of technology that can support the nodes to make a breakthrough step. If my company would have implemented all this solution, I think I would be very happy. Huh?
Okay, thank you, Salva. Giuseppe, Chris, you respect the time. Thank you so much for your input and insight. It was quite challenging to answer to these three questions. We know that we have to do a lot more in order to increase the modal shift and to optimize the logistic nodes. I won't be able to summarize what you said because we do not have the time. But feel free, attendees, to provide your comment on the chat box. So now it's time for me to give the floor for the award of the winners of this Alice Innovation Awards focusing on logistics nodes, chaired by Salva Fulvio. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I invite you to stay. I don't know if Fernando, you want to say some words before, or we can go ahead with the
for the sake
ceremony.
of brevity, you can go ahead. I'm sharing already the presentation, so then please, Salva, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we can start with this Logistics Innovation Award ceremony. First of all, well, I don't need to present the selection committee as we've been are the ones that we are here with the camera on. Besides Chris, Giuseppe, Elvina, myself, also Lamia Kerju from FEPORT was part of the committee, but she couldn't join today. And well, the selection committee reviewed all the candidate cases and made decisions to give 4 different awards. There's 1 gold award and 3 special awards. And this is done to different tools and innovative solutions based on this research and innovation projects that were also presented in the previous BOOSTLOG, the cloud report presentation. So the criteria that was taken into account to the evaluation of the different candidates was 3 main criteria: the impact on nodes, society and market, the scalability and growth potential, and finally the innovation, the level of innovation of the solution. So we can go ahead and we can start with the gold award. Chris Neyers from Bill will give this gold award. Please, Chris, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. It's a big honor to be able to give the gold award to a great project that really convinced the whole committee. So that was there was a big, I would say, a big consensus on it. So the gold award goes to Circle from Italy for the port rail shunting optimization tool. I guess most of you understand what shunting is: the organizing, shifting, regrouping formation of trains. And so, and the project focuses on an aspect of rail transport that can really be substantially improved with the implementation of this tool. So that really has a high potential to increase, we think, the share of railways in logistics, because it focuses really on driving down operational cost, increasing operational efficiency, reducing congestion in logistics nodes, and at the same time increasing sustainability as we promote a modal shift. So it's really an honor to give that award to Circle, as we were really impressed, and we believe there's also a big opportunity for scalability. It's really relevant for many terminals across Europe. A big congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Chris. Thanks a lot to everybody. I'm Alexio Picco. I'm the managing director of Circle. Together with me, Luca Battello, that's the CEO of Circle. We are really, really proud of this for a number of reasons. First, because I mean, it's given this award. It's given by Alice, that is, I mean, the driver really for innovation in logistics since a couple of years already. And second, because really, when we started to focus on this a couple of years ago, it was exactly for a number of reasons that have been mentioned in your in the last half an hour, you know. And we discovered that, I mean, it was nothing really difficult in a way to discover that everything that is related to rail and logistics need a lot of automation, digitalization, and optimization. And so we started from something also that from the research and theoretical and methodological point of view was quite interesting, that are shunting areas. You know, we had a lot of even constraints, infrastructural constraints, namely in the south where we live in our city, for instance. And we thought, okay, I mean, we need to help in automation, digitalization, to overcome the infrastructural issues. We have an infrastructural development, but of course we need to do something waiting for big infrastructures. Okay, and so that was the case to go to shunting, and where we started to apply optimization tool, but we are even more advanced now. We're really using a digital twin approach, you know, combining the simulation optimization on one side and the real-time feedback on the other side. So that is where we are. We are working a number of ports and chanting areas of that and many other things. And so thanks. And I think that I give the floor to Luca now, but I think we need to thank the person that really did this. That is Veronica Asta, one lady of our team. That luckily for her is somewhere in the Caribbean beach, so it's in a very nice place, you know, and she cannot be with us. So it's something really that we should be proud of, and we should also, of course, congratulate Veronica that is leading this process. Luca, if you want to add something.
You already told enough. Really, thanks for that, and it's really an honor and a pleasure. So we will see in the next step about the very intense and very important and strategic activity that Alice is managing. So thanks again, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you to you, and congratulations. As I mentioned before, besides this gold award, the committee decided to give 3 special awards, and the first one is special award for disruptive technology. And Giuseppe Dell'Asta from Interporto will give this award.
Thank you, Salva. So it's a pleasure also for me to give this award, because also I think that the committee was quite aligned on that award as well, and it was the award is given to the Ericsson for its implementation in the 5G Ports of the Future project initiatives. And the main reason that we brought to this for this award is that all of us, the committee, found a highly innovative initiative, that one, and because there was the usage of cutting-edge technology in logistics, and so this initiative can inspire a lot of other logistics node and other initiatives in that sense to exploit this cutting-edge technology to bring efficiency in logistics. So it's a pleasure to me to give this award to Ericsson.
Responsible for this project. I will thank you, all of you, for this recognition. We are proud to receive this, and we think that this technology is something that can make the difference in the future for the ports. And we are continuing working on these technologies, including 5G and the application for ports altogether, because this combination is something that can give an advantage in terms of cost reduction, reduction of the carbon footprint. And we are also now trying to see if we can develop the product, real product with these things we have studied. And we are cooperating also with the port of Aveiro in Portugal now, that is implementing this solution. And we think that we after that we can arrive at a decision for a real implementation of the product that will be available on the market. So thanks again for this recognition.
Congratulations. I think we can go to the next special award that is being, the committee decided to give a special award for market impact. And Elvina from Alice will give this.
Yes,
award.
exactly. So the committee decided to give the award on logistics note and market impact to Air Cargo Belgium, ACB, for the implementation of the slot booking app. This slot booking app is a really nice story because it came through the Cluster 2.0 a project in attendees were committed. So slot booking app was before normally a cargo stream solution, which finally shifted to the development of the slot booking app dedicated to the airport. So we decided to give this award because of the high potential of scalability and has already created impact through different implementation in different airports in Europe and beyond. So it's really a great pleasure for me to give this award to the team of ACB and Nalian was bringing the technology.
Well,
Someone
thanks a lot
from
for that.
ah,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good morning. Thanks a lot for the award, and yeah, it's really what you said. It's the foundation of what we are doing at Air Cargo Belgium, the slot booking application. We are now building on this application our next steps in our digitization projects. So it's really nice to get these recognitions here as well. I want also to thank Nalian, especially Nalian, because they are the IT provider, and we work a lot of time. We work a lot of together with them as well. So it's really nice, and I think we are all in the same area. We are all looking for digitization to get our logistics and transport industry more sustainable. So it's also an award for all our partners involved in our community in Brussels. And I'm also quite happy because air transport is sometimes lagging behind the port industry in this Alice consortium. So I'm also happy that we can bring the perspective of the airport to Alice, because I think that's also an important area in which we can improve a lot the next couple of years as well. So thanks a lot once again. Also on behalf of Nalian, they couldn't attend today, but we are very happy and very proud of this award.
Okay. Congratulations, Thomas and team. And the third special award is the award for sustainability. And I'm very happy to have the opportunity to give this award to the Universitat Politécnica of Valencia for its implementation of the Port Environmental Index. Well, the committee decided to give this award because I think it's a very ambitious solution they developed that is supporting nodes in this sustainable transition towards zero emissions, which, as we discussed previously, is the high priority. And it is very important to raise awareness for sustainability and climate action, and this is something that this tool allows to do, and to keep track of these impacts of logistics nodes. So I think it is very important, and I'm happy to give this special award. I don't know if it's yeah. I think I'm not hearing you. I don't know.
Ignacio, we can hear you.
Maybe the mic is not working.
You may check in the settings, audio settings, maybe it's taking a different microphone. You may see an engine, and in the engine, when you click in the engine, you should be microphone, and maybe you can select a different microphone.
No? What about now?
Perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the tip. I was saying thank you, Salva, and thank you very much to Alice for this opportunity and for this award. We are very, very honored to receive this prize from your side. And to be honest, we have been collaborating through these years also in several occasions with you. And we believe that the cluster and liaison opportunities and activities that you promote as an organization are very fruitful for the overall innovative environment and ecosystem through Europe. And I am very happy also on behalf of the rest of the project that was actually in charge of developing this idea, the project called Pixel that was running from some years ago till 2021 to receive this award. And personally, I am very happy to be here to receiving this award. And before closing, I would like to also mention the project coordinator of this project, which is a professor of my university. So I pass the floor to him, which is Carlos Palau.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Carlos.
Okay, thank you very much, Nacho. Thanks to Alice for this award. Thank you, Salva, for the kind words. Actually, Nacho was the brain of the Port Environmental Index. It was developed together by the rest of the project, and to be honest, we are very happy that it's considered for as item as considered as sustainability, because for us sustainability is a core aspect in every project that we are running. And I think that is really, really important for everything related with logistics. So thank you very much. Nothing else to add of what Nacho has said, and thank you for the award.
Thank you.
Congratulations again. And I don't know, Fernando, if you can give us a tip also to give a big applause to all the winners. Is there a way to do it?
I don't think we have that, but I think we can do it in the traditional way. So then congratulations to all the winners actually, and thank you all participants on this logistics nodes cloud report launch, and the panel, all the jury, and congratulations again to Circle for the Gold Award, for Ericsson for the Technology Award, Air Cargo Belgium and Nalian for the market impact, and University Polytechnic of Valencia for the sustainability. As a summary, I would like to say that I think one of the main results of this exercise is that in the past we saw not so many projects and not so much involvement of the actual logistics nodes in projects, and this we are seeing a lot of change in the last 5-10 years. We really see the appetite for innovation, digitalization, sustainability imports actually taking the lead in transforming logistics and supply chains to be zero emissions, and this is something that all the logistics nodes community can be proud of, and we see how actually in that ecosystem we see the innovation is very much advancing and quite fast, and we can see also this because most of the results that have been implemented are coming from the projects that not that long, that in other cloud report. So I think this is very, very promising. And I thank you all the participants for staying here. I would like just to share that if you want to know more about the BOOSTLOG or about the projects, you can visit our booth in the Transport Research Arena. We'll be there, Alice, with many projects, some of them that have been mentioned here that are running, like Planet, Epicenter, or Pioneers, that are addressing logistics nodes. So I hope you can come to Lisbon in TRA, and we can have a chat and also share with you face-to-face more the results. And if you are coming to Lisbon, but you prefer also to go to a different country in the Iberian Peninsula, our Alice members, Port of Rotterdam and Port of Barcelona, are also hosting the Smart Ports Piers of the Future in Barcelona. So then you can invest that week in the Iberian Peninsula and move from Lisbon to Barcelona for enjoying these events that are somehow highlighting how logistics nodes are really proactively addressing the challenges that Giuseppe, Salvador, and Chris addressed in the panel. So nothing else on my side. Just thanking everybody for being here, and looking forward to meet you hopefully in person in the upcoming weeks. Thank you. Bye.